Hello and welcome to Yorkshire Voice. I'm Ella Bicknell, live from Leeds Trinity University. On today's programme, West Yorkshire Police are treating a house fire that broke out yesterday morning in Bradford as suspicious. The fire started in a terraced house on Ringwood Road on the Canterbury estate. Police have confirmed the two people who died were a 63-year-old woman and a 68-year-old man. A man has been charged with the murder of a woman in Leeds. The body of Kirsty Ellis, who was 35, was found last weekend. The police say Kirsty's body has been in the property a number of weeks. Tony Brooks, who is a 35-year-old man from Agbrigg Road in Wakefield, was due to appear at Leeds Magistrates Court today. Hyde Park Book Club hosted a fundraiser in aid of Ukraine last night. The evening was part of a series of events organised by a group called Leeds Creatives. Grace McGorry has this report.
The fundraiser was held at the well-known Leeds venue and ran from 6 p.m. till late. It was a very vibrant evening, featuring lots of locals who created such an uplifting atmosphere for what is such a sad cause.
So we've got a play by a Ukrainian playwright that's on in there at 6:30, and then we've got a bunch of poets from around the area that are coming together to help raise money for these Ukrainian funds. They're also going to have books for sale, that all the funds of that will go towards these two Ukrainian funds. So one is to help Ukrainian refugees settle in Leeds, and then the other one is the DEC big campaign that all the major charities are working on.
Later that evening, Luke Prince Quartet performed, and musicians from across Leeds played instruments they were not familiar with to create the Leeds Really Awful Big Band. Many of those involved spoke of the importance of using their skills and talents to encourage people to donate for such an important cause.
Any way you can make people engage with what's going on in the world around them. As I think a lot of the stuff a lot of the news and stuff feels so disconnected, especially after the pandemic, because everything's just on your phone and it's constant. You get new information all the time. So getting people in a room together, now that we can do that, I think is important. So 20 people playing stupid music together is fun and good.
A total of 150 people attended the event, and altogether £1,000 was raised to support Ukraine.
Reporting on that great fundraising initiative. Leeds City Council has put in a new bridge in place across a river in Leeds. The bridge is dedicated to a man who drowned after being racially harassed by the police over 50 years ago. Erin Carney reports.
When David Holloway drowned in 1969, his death had a long-lasting impact on the city of Leeds. Now, after being announced in January, the David Holloway Bridge has finally been constructed and put in place over the weekend. The bridge sits across the River Aire, connecting Sovereign Street with Water Lane. Expected to be open to the public later this summer, the bridge will be open for pedestrians and cyclists and is set to be one of the new key elements of the South Bank regeneration programme. David's death in 1969 led to the first time the British police were prosecuted for their involvement in the death of a black person. In recognition of this significance of David's story and its relevance today, the footbridge is not only important to remember his name, but also the importance of his legacy.
It's been 50 years since the death of David Holloway, who was tragically targeted because of his mental health, homelessness and race. Leeds City Council will name a new bridge crossing the river from Sovereign Street to Water Lane in memory of his death and to make a stand for equality and inclusion in Leeds. Councillor Jonathan Pryor, Leeds City Council's Deputy Leader and Executive Member for the Economy, Culture and Education, said David Holloway's story must have never been forgotten, and naming this bridge for him will stand as a lasting and poignant memorial to his profoundly tragic death and the legacy to which he left behind.
Thank you, Erin, for that report. Now, today marks 200 days to go until the Rugby League World Cup. To celebrate this, the trophies are being toured around the host towns and cities in the UK. It will be coming to Headingley and Kirkstall in Leeds this evening. Our reporter Mark Singleton spoke to Daily Mirror's sports writer Dave Craven. He said this year's tournament will have been worth the wait.
Yeah, I think everybody's looking forward to it. I mean, obviously last year getting postponed as it was obviously an anticlimax in the end, Australia and New Zealand pulling out and forcing it to be postponed for 12 months. But in hindsight, I think it was probably a wise decision, because this time around it's definitely going to touch wood. It's it's definitely going to go ahead. We'll have all the best players in the world here. The NRL are behind it now. They're promoting it as well. And it should be a great advert for the sport, and it's a massive chance to really sort of get rugby league.
The trophies should be coming to Headingley Stadium within the hour, and we will have coverage from the stadium tomorrow. The stadium is the home of the Leeds Rhinos, who have won 11 league titles and 14 Challenge Cups. The last one was in 2020. The final destination of the tour of the trophies will be the John Smith Stadium in Huddersfield, another West Yorkshire town. It's hoped that hosting the World Cup Series in the north will help integrate local communities in the sport, especially young people. So who's the best prospects to win the World Cup? Well, starting with the women, we have to look at the Women's Six Nations to see who will be the main competitors from the Northern Hemisphere. Pundits believe England has the best chance to beat the current World Cup champions, New Zealand. They are set to get their 6th title. In the Men's World Cup, people are fearful to back England following their Six Nations performance. We're looking at France to win the title, with South Africa and New Zealand set to be fierce competition. The first match is on the 15th of October in St James's Park, up in Newcastle. So, next up, despite Public Spaces Protection Order that prevents public drinking in Hall Park in Horsforth, there are reports of people drinking in the park over the weekend. Public Spaces Protection Orders are often in place in parks to prevent youth disorder and large gatherings. We spoke to a local Horsforth resident about what she thought about people drinking in the park.
I don't like the litter, but I don't mind the drinking. I think the drinking part is fine as long as you're not being too rowdy. Yeah, I guess I'm more concerned about like kids getting into accidents on their scooters than about kids drinking.
Now back to a more traditional party venue. A new organisation has been set up by local DJs to bring awareness to mental health in the music industry. It's called Healthy Minds, and they've organised music events and charity football matches to raise funds for suicide prevention charities such as the Young Samaritans and Papyrus. Georgia Collins here with this report.
Local DJs Aidan and Sam have started their own organisation, Healthy Minds, to raise awareness for mental health issues within the music industry.
In the music industry especially, there's so much stigma surrounding mental health, and there's a lot of sort of unidentified issues that people don't really talk about or they don't really understand. And I think for us to be able to raise awareness for that as a brand, but also provide a safe space for people to come and enjoy themselves and kind of let the hair down for a night, it's massive for us. And then obviously the stuff that we do for charity as well, and raising money for charities is quite important too.
Recently we did a football match between our brand and our friends at Barbelo Events. We did a 7-side football match, trying to get some money together for that, and that was a couple of weeks ago. It was basically leading up to our event that we did at District on Friday. It's just like a pre-match get together.
Aidan and Sam have future plans to play at Amsterdam's Spring Break Festival next month, along with hosting sponsored music live streams to raise money for charity.
Now from the music here in Leeds to the silver screen in LA. The headlines over the last couple of days have been dominated by the Oscars, but there's loads of exciting entertainment news happening here in Yorkshire. Our entertainment reporter Erin Carney is here to tell us more. Now Erin, you know a lot about the theatre scene in Leeds, being an actress yourself, so what's been going on around here?
Oh, thanks for that, Ella. Well, we've got some great Yorkshire-based entertainment news today. The Alhambra Theatre in Bradford has started its 2-month run of The Lion King today. The show was meant to come to the theatre in April 2020, but was sadly postponed due to COVID. Based on the Disney film, the hit musical has enjoyed 2 decades running in the London's West End. Next up, Halifax is hosting the premiere screening of the 2nd series of Gentleman Jack tonight. The BBC One and HBO series is filmed in and around West Yorkshire, and it's based on the diaries of the Halifax landowner and industrialist Anne Lister. The first series was a hit, averaging almost 7 million views across its 8-episode run. And finally, Sheffield-based comedy film The Full Monty is set to be rebooted for a Disney Plus series. Filming started yesterday across Sheffield and Manchester for the new series, which will follow all the original characters across 8 episodes. That's all from now from Hollywood of the North.
That sounds brilliant, Erin. A lot of things to be excited about. Have you seen anything of late that you're interested in?
I actually have. I went to the theatre recently, I think it was last week, to see Cluedo, the comedic thriller, at Leeds Grand Theatre. It's on tour at the moment, the same director who did The Play That Goes Wrong and Mischief Theatre, and I really recommend you can go see it because it was a really great and funny night.
Fantastic, I better put that in my diary. Thank you so much, Erin. Finally, for the weather, it's been overcast today with drizzly rain, but the rain is due to get heavier tonight. And now looking deeper into the night, there's a chance on higher ground that the rain could turn into snow. Minimum temperature tonight should be -1 degrees Celsius. Now that's all we have time for today. Join us live every day at 4 o'clock for the next 2 weeks. If you have any stories, please get in touch. We're all on the socials. Thank you very much for joining us. Goodbye.